funny thing, by the way, I saw this reply on my tweet. Where was it? I thought it was funny because this was my reaction to their comment. Oh yeah, this guy's, yeah. He says, while Phrolova's writing is 100 times better than Kart's, way deeper and way more moving. You know what reading this reminded me of? Coming from someone named Tommy Bolton. It reminded me of r/I'm 14 and this is deep. The whole fucking subreddit based on like people like Jaden Smith thinking they're like fucking 14-year-olds and just like, it's deep. Oh my god, it makes you made me think for days. I might be missing something because I don't like Phrolova, but I don't get what Phrolova's story quest had you thinking for days about. Like, genuinely. Like, there was a reply that said, Phrolova's quest, except Phrolova's quest had me thinking for days. I'm like, about what? What are you thinking for days about? I don't really get it, man. Oh yeah, this one, okay. 2.2 made me hype for a day. 2.5 made me think for days. Perfect way to describe it. Best description. I'm like, what are you thinking for days about after Phrolova's quest? This is, like, these replies make me really think to r/I'm 14 and I think it's deep. And I think this is deep. Is that the, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm 14 and this is deep, right? Like, the people who post on here are literally like Jaden Smith, who like thoughts that he thinks is like super deep. He's like, oh my god, I'm a philosophical being. I mean, they are probably 14, man. Maybe they are 14, but I just don't know what Phrolova's story has got you thinking for days on. I want any of these people to tell me what they got, Phrolova's story got them thinking for days about. Can we talk about the economic and social state of gacha gaming? That's fine. I don't see anything wrong with gacha gaming. I think anybody who's saying gacha gaming's dead right now is just not playing Uma Musume. Check Pokke's tweet. Ooh, 2.5 spoilers. I cannot stop thinking about the story. Phrolova has every reason to be a villain, and she did, but that doesn't make her any less of a villain and spare her from any less of the consequences, considering she almost committed genocide. Rover is reminiscent of Kiritsugu. I mean, this guy really is just stuck on fate, isn't he? No matter the cost for the greater good, he barely knew Phrolova until this main story quest where he was bombed with her lore, and even then he still remained doubtful since she technically did almost trap him. To a certain extent, her objective was fulfilled by being with her village again, but instead of bringing them to her, she joined them instead. So one could say her character arc ended. She became a distant memory that ultimately could not bend to Rover's ideals, treating it as a moral hypocrisy when he was part of why she's the way she is. Why completely neglecting maybe while completing, I don't know. All in all, I'm glad Wuwa locked in and didn't do the redemption trope for a villain. Yeah, I think everybody's happy about that. Ultimately suffering the consequences of their actions' death. I don't know if anything he said here makes you think can't stop thinking about it. Like, he just described what happened in the story, no? Like, there's nothing he said here that was like a philosophically, like, thought-provoking thing. It's like, man. Like, he literally just said, man, bad guy got punished for doing bad guy things and the good guy didn't bend the rules for them. It's like, wait, is that deep of a concept? I don't really know. This is what I'm saying. I don't really get what the deep thing that people are thinking about after this quest is. The average gacha gamer has never read a full-length novel. That's not true. As long as I believe that most people are still going through their normal school systems, they have books that they're required to read. Okay, so I'm assuming people still read books. I guess it's just because you don't like her? Let me ask you this. As someone that does like her, maybe, can someone that likes her tell me why it's thought-provoking? Like, I get if it could be emotionally provoking, but I don't get how it could be thought-provoking. I understand how it could be emotionally provoking because it's someone a character you like and or, you know, endearing to you, but like I don't get the thought-provoking part. Maybe, I don't know. You're not an empath, Bob? Okay, that's not true. Yes, it was emotional for me. Yeah, exactly. I get when people say it was emotional. 100% that makes sense. I just don't get when people say it was thought-provoking. What part was thought-provoking? Because literally the only parts that I've seen people say is thought-provoking is like, man, can't believe, wow, it's just so crazy to me that the bad guy actually got punished and face their consequences for being a bad guy. That's just reality. That's how it should be. What is thought-provoking for you in your experience? I guess making you see a new worldview that you didn't previously experience because you were never put into a position to have to even think of yourself within that position, right? Like a movie that is thought-provoking is going to make you understand a concept that you never... Like here's the thing, right? Like movies like Parasite, were thought-provoking, right? Because is a critical commentary on the social atmosphere of South Korea and just how fucking disgusting it is from the top to bottom, and how heavy it is on the top, and how basically the people at the bottom of the social ladder are just basically pigs and trash, treated like garbage, and how like literally nothing in the social system does anything to fucking provide anything for them to help them at all, right? So like that's thought-provoking because you don't realize this is something that's happening, and you're like, holy fuck, I thought South Korea was all fucking sunshine and rainbows and K-pop, but there's this type of shit going on that you never fucking notice. Whereas, like, what did Phrolova story quest make you think about that, like, you never conceptually realized as a human being? No one thinks South Korea is sunshine and rainbows? Rewind like 2 years ago, and they did. What do you mean? Brother, I literally had arguments on Twitter about people defending South Korea, saying it's basically a utopia. This was before a lot of the recent scandals have been coming out in Korea, right? Like, back then, I literally had K-pop fanboys come to my Twitter and be like, Korea's a utopia. We wish we could have that in America. We wish to live there. It's like, okay, like, listen, don't get me wrong. I think Korea might still be better than the US, but it ain't no fucking utopia, okay? It's mostly the debate part in which Phrolova brings up a lot of good points that Rover never really had an answer to. Made people side with her a lot. But is that thought-provoking, or is that just omission of information that we lack because because Rover had memory wipe? Like, I don't think that's really thought-provoking. I mean, it makes you think for a second, and like that's why I think when I played the story quest, I was like, oh shit, Rover was who Phrolova's waiting for this entire time. So Rover basically created the villain that she is today. So like that, but like I don't think that's thought-provoking. That's like connecting the dots and being like, whoa, you know, like that's cool. But I don't think that's thought-provoking. Like I'm basically referring to the people in my replies that are like, yeah, I had to think about Phrolova quest for days. Like did it take them days to connect the dot that Rover is basically the canon event for Phrolova turning to Fraxidus? Like unless that's what they're saying, maybe, but
Maybe people are surprised that they didn't realize Rover or you the player has the guts to kill a playable character. Shrug.
Yeah, like maybe the thing that shocked most people was just that a mainstream gacha game is willing to make the main character not look irredeemable. Maybe that's what? Which I could almost see, because I think that was the point of 2.5, was to show that Rover wasn't this irredeemable, perfect fucking being that everybody just fucking wants to glaze. Rover didn't create Phrolova, midlife crisis, her not moving on did. What the fuck? Okay, yes. All right. I guess it's unfair to put the onus on Rover fully, because it's also on Phrolova to grow up and mature as a fucking adult and not keep waiting. So like, yes, it's like 50-50, but also, you know, if Rover yeah, fair. It's like Shion was right because Satoshi disappeared. Yeah, it may not be that it's thought-provoking, but instead it had heavy emotional impact, similar to when you finished a long JRPG or something, but I don't know. I agree if they said, man, it had me feeling, it had me in the feels for days. If they said that 100%. Because it's like, when I finished Omori, brother, that shit, for days, I would, whenever, for like, pretty much a week after I finished Omori, whenever Final Duet played on my playlist when I was driving the car, I was like, oh shit, fuck. That shit hit me every fucking time for a week. But that's like not because Omori was thought-provoking for me. It was because it was just so fucking emotionally gripping. So like, if you are replying to my tweet being like, Phrolova's quest had me emotionally for days, whereas 2.2 didn't, fair, 100%. But I don't get the people who are saying 2.5 was thought-provoking as fuck. Like, it's like they just read the works of Socrates and like lead you know, like theological beings. Like, what? Let's relax, you know. Omori is kind of thought-provoking in my opinion. It is. I think Omori is thought-provoking, especially if you are in certain positions in life where you can definitely see yourselves in some of those positions, especially so. And I think a lot of reason why Omori became so popular is, as sad as it is to say, there are a lot of depressed people in modern day, especially with just how absorbed everybody is to social media. I think social media creates even more depressed people than ever before, because so much of your self-worth is tied to these buttons: views, likes, interactions. And if you don't get those, you just like, is just so much fucking sadder. And that's why in that type of ecosystem, I think a story that has delved so much into the topic of depression and loneliness, it fucking, you know, and trauma, it's like obviously going to be an insanely well-written story. Sunday bird analogy made me have thoughts for days. Okay, yeah, it's like that shit with the Sunday fucking bird, bro. Okay, if you had to no, shut the fuck up. That's the same shit, bro. Don't judge them too much. It's their first time reading something. Which, I mean, listen, I think the fact that you could enjoy a game and come out of it so happy and so like emotionally moved, I think that's why the medium of video games is so fucking good. It's something you could play and enjoy, but also have excellent storytelling. Do I think 2.5 was the best storytelling in the world? I don't think so. But you know, that's this thing with these type of games. How they get you so easily, and this is something that I think MiHoYo mastered with Genshin. It's just marketing characters so fucking well that people grow insane attachments to them. Even if a story isn't like the best well-written thing, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't need to be the best well-written thing. As long as the person that you're marketing towards and is reading that content is so attached to that individual, it will automatically make it riveting for them, right? It's fucking genius. Right? It's the business of selling characters. And like every gacha game has essentially at this point mastered it. And I think that's why, even if you don't think Wuthering Waves has the best story, there will be people that will defend it like it's the best story because they have characters that they really fucking love. This is why I think people should just respect more people's opinions, you know, on story. I think this whole nonsense about attacking each other's story opinions is so ridiculous. Because like, people are just gonna have different opinions on different things based on how invested they are with that said thing, right? Like 100% chat, if 2.5 was a story about, let's say, a character I really liked, like Peeb. Let's say 2.5 was mainly around Peeb, and it's her like journey to discovering the truth about the Order and realizing everything she stood for and believed was just all built on a bunch of lies. And let's say something like that conceptually happened, and there's like a tragic end for Peeb, where you know, she had to sacrifice herself for something, you know, for the greater good or something, right? That would fucking, for me, I would be like 2.5, 10 out of 10, best story ever. Why? Because I fucking love Peeb, right? But that's probably not accurate. It's probably, if that was the story, it's probably not accurate to say 2.5 would be a 10 out of 10. It's just because I really fucking like Peeb, you know? So, that's not the story though? Well, yeah, that's the whole point. It's a hypothetical. In that case, Pokke giving HSR a high rating should not be that big, but people make it a big deal. No, 100%. Like, I think people do have to realize that the reason people like Pokke give HSR such a great rating is because he genuinely likes the game. But I think the main reason he gets so much shit is because people these days don't conceptually...
True enjoyment of any story is subjective anyway. Arguing on it is silly in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think there are a lot of people who just don't believe certain content creators genuinely enjoy the things that they do because they were led to those conclusions based on like past experiences or distaste of that creator from other things, right? Like I think there's a lot of people who probably think Pokke is like a, you know, fucking Giga Hoyo shill who'll say anything to defend HSR because they had a bad experience about him and Wuwa, right? Like, which I think all of us could fairly say, right? Pokke, for a while there, was kind of getting shit on by the Wuwa fanbase. He was. So, like, it could be very easily, you know, you could come to a very easy conclusion as to why some people might think the reason he glazes HSR so much might be, quote-unquote, he's just a Hoyo shill. Rather than thinking maybe if he actually might like the game, which I personally believe Pokke 100% fucking likes HSR. There's no way anybody could do 0 cycles for that long and play HSR that fucking many times and do that many account reviews without liking the game. That's just obscene. Unless he's a psychopath, right? He has to be a psychopath to want to do all that. Alright? Genuinely. Or what if he's a masochist? Hey, possible. You know, maybe he is fucking crazy. But, like, besides, I've met Pokke and I don't think he is, so, you know, I think he genuinely does like HSR. Some people like to eat shit, doesn't mean I won't tell them they are eating shit. Yes, but, like, if they like eating shit, right, does it hurt you or bother you that they like eating shit? Like, you could sit there and tell them that they're eating shit, but if they don't want to acknowledge it and they want to continue to enjoy eating shit, how does that affect you? You could just move on. The issue with what happens in gacha tribalism is you'll tell the person they're eating shit and they'll be like, okay, that's fine, but I still like this shit. You'll be like, no, you can't like shit. And then there'll be like a constant back and forth about, and you just try to really convert them into not liking that shit when them liking that shit doesn't really have any consequence to you. And you could just move on, right? And that's how gacha tribalism happens. Because people are really earnestly set out on convincing other people like otherwise.